Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. A lovely day in Lagos, southwest of the country, where we're broadcasting from. You know, drizzles, showers, it's all good. Hope you had a restful weekend. Now, on to the beginning of the week, and I thought we should start off with the whole question of restructuring. It's always been with us. We've been talking about this restructuring. In fact, depending on who you're talking with, there are those who actively engage, you on it, and then there are those who ask you, say, "What a minute? What's this whole restructuring issue that has now taken center stage now?" Okay, I suppose both people have their own points of view, but we thought we'd find out from those who probably can be most useful in their contributions. I'm talking about having the APC National Publicity Secretary in the House, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, a one-time Minister of Youth and Sports. Thank you very much for coming on, Malam Bolaji.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
And we're also delighted to have in the House Senator Osita Izunazo. Senator Izunazo is the APC National Organizing Secretary of APC. Thank you very much for coming on the coming on the program as well.
Thank you for that.
Indeed. Let me start off with you, the official, shall we say, the official information house in the APC. And I mean, that's where we can go for direction. APC restructuring. In coming to office, the Buhari administration, this whole matter of restructuring in its manifesto, indeed, even in its roadmap, it was giving, place of prominence. There are those who feel that now that this whole question of restructuring has become such a logjam kind of an argument, what is the problem? Why is the APC not able to move forward on its, shall we say, promises during the whole campaign era?
Well, I mean, I assume that you are asking me specific question about APC's position on restructuring. The takeoff position on that will be what APC promised, what is in the APC manifesto. I think many people don't have as much clarity as we all need on that. What the APC promises in its manifesto is the restructuring of Nigeria's governance system in a way that will devolve more power to the states, that will allocate more resources to the states, that will bring governance closer to the people. If this is what everybody else is talking about, then we are on the same page. Then it means that what APC means by restructuring, what APC promised by restructuring, is the same thing that Nigerians are now agitating for. In other words, it means they are asking us to fulfill our promises. But we are not sure that what APC mean by restructuring is what everybody else means when they use the word restructuring, right?
Maybe then it behoves us to find out what exactly APC does mean then when it talks about restructuring, which I think is what you've sort of explained now.
Exactly.
That so far as the
APC's definition of restructuring does not include regionalization. Not saying regionalization is bad in itself, but APC's promise of restructuring does not envisage or include regionalization. It does not include, as a matter of fact, dismemberment. It does not include this drawing of maps. It does not include this issuing of ultimatums. It simply means making our federalism stronger and bringing governance and resources closer to the majority of the people.
Senator Osita, and you are going to be on the same page with him because you're the national organizing secretary of the party, but do you see, perhaps do you understand it from the point of view of the the ordinary voter, the ordinary citizen, let's even forget voter for now, the ordinary citizen who was thinking that, and probably is still thinking that give APC a chance, give this government a chance, because this is the ruling party, that's why APC is coming into it, that we'll get there. But they are saying that we've not seen very much in terms of this restructuring. In fact, going by the ongoing, shall we say, relationship with the National Assembly, between the executive and the National Assembly, executive is APC, National Assembly is APC, yet it's been a rambunctious kind of a relationship so far. So where are we going? Why so much distraction? The National Assembly has constituted itself into an opposition to the APC, so a lot of people say.
Well, I think your questions are double barrel, so I will just take them one after the other. On the issue of restructuring, just like Bolaji have explained, if you look at APC constitution, manifesto, there are only about 3 places that we mention the restructuring. If you go to page 3 of our manifesto, you will see restructuring under reforms. If you go to page 29 of our manifesto, you will see restructuring under infrastructural development. If you go way down to about page 36, you will also 37, you'll also see restructuring. So what are the issues? The first restructuring is talking about restructuring of government apparatus, governance, to restructure governance, to have Nigerians to believe and have absolute confidence in governance. This we have done vis-a-vis fighting corruption and all the rest of the things we have put on ground. If you go further to restructuring in terms of infrastructure, you will see to what extent we have done it. We have even gone ahead to ensure that the so-called physical federalism is given a pride of place. You remember when this government came on board, most of the states could hardly pay salaries. There was a bailout President Buhari gave out to all the states, regardless of whether you were APC or PDP. Unlike President Goodluck, when he was there, they had some kind of bailout through ecological fund for only PDP states. Adams Oshimole have said that severally, and I'm not sure that anybody has been able to effectively contradict him. Because the states that got have not said that they did not get. But President Buhari's bailout was for everybody. Today you're talking about Paris Club. The first tranche has been released, and all the governors are being subjected to proper use of the Paris Club. Whether you're APC or PDP, the Ministry of Finance and the Budget Office are ensuring that every state must be accountable to the use of the Paris Club. Now we're talking about the second tranche of the Paris Club. Why I'm saying this, giving all this example, is to tell you to how extent that we are in terms of sensitivity about physical responsibility and physical federalism as it concerns the state. As far as APC is concerned, every state of Nigeria is as important as the other. And we treat every state equal.
Okay, you did accuse me of a double barrel question. Maybe the other barrel, you look at the other barrel, the National Assembly constituting itself in the eyes of many into an opposition. So much so that the legitimate opposition, PDP, can actually go to sleep. The National Assembly will do your work for you in terms of everything the executive wants. Doesn't even exist.
No, well, I can tell you that most people do not understand the operations of National Assembly. National Assembly runs a complementary system of government. It's not confrontational, complementary. In the sense that there are areas where they will disagree and they will hold on to it. If you look at the principle of separation of power that gave birth to the 3 arms of government, where the powers of one stop, the powers of another start. So I don't want us to look at National Assembly as if they're confronting the system. No. The party is there to intervene. We control the majority in both chambers of the National Assembly. Whenever we see that things are not going right the way it ought to go, we come in and intervene. And in intervening, we will make sure that they see our own view. Don't forget that National Assembly represents all manner of people, all shades of people, all political parties are in National Assembly. But we have a responsibility as the party leading and the party ahead to say, look, gentlemen, this is the way we look at it, and look at it from the point of view of our manifesto.
Okay.
That we have always done. You saw us shuttling between the House of Reps and the Senate whenever there are critical issues that borders on national importance, we move into the National Assembly and discuss with them. So I do not think that they are confronting the executive. I do not think that they're not working in tandem with us, but there are bound to be disagreements.
Okay.
That is why you have the party playing the federal role at any point in time.
And let me bring it back to the party, because where is the party APC, the ruling party? Where is it actually? You've told us very much what it's about in terms of restructuring. But this whole issue of party supremacy, for example, for the party being able to have influence on, you know, the administrations, give me your assessment of that.
Well, I mean, we're still a long way from the ideal. You see, our democracy is also evolving. It's work in progress. For example, the issue of a relationship between the legislature and the executive that Senator Izunaso mentioned. You see, the framers of our constitution deliberately build in the principles of checks and balances to ensure that no single arm of government is able to constitute itself into a dominant position over the other arms of government. This necessarily generates a kind of what I would call benign tension that is good for the democracy of our country. And that is why you see that in other more advanced democracy, when the Congress, like the United States, when the Congress turns down a proposal by the executive, nobody says they are doing it because they hate the president or because they don't like the president or they have been deliberately obstructionists, right? And at the end of the day, the two arms of government will sit down and look at the overall interest of the people. Everybody is just playing their roles. Yeah. So it's the same thing as the party, the National Assembly, the executive, as the case may be, right? We still have a long way to go in creating a situation where the party is truly supreme in essence, right? But the principle is what everybody agrees on.
Oh yeah, the principle is good.
It's good, and everybody agrees. But what I'm saying is that you see, the more stable our democracy is, the more stable the government is, the more stable the entire system is, then you see a political party that is strong enough to impose its authority. How old is APC?
Okay.
Right?
Especially, and it's still evolving.
It's still evolving. PDP was in power for 16 years. I was a member of PDP. And I know that on occasions, the party summoned ministers. Majority refused to go. I was one of the few that went. What was the party able to do? At the point that President Jonathan's government was ending, if you hand over the manifesto of the PDP to an average government minister, they were probably seeing it for the first time. That is wrong. So that's why I said it's not about APC, it's not about what we are going through now. It's, in general terms, what we need to work on as a country to develop our democracy. We are not where we should be, and we must admit that.
And so much so that beyond even that, there are those who think that perhaps the party has been sort of weakened. Where it started out from, it's, shall we say, any idyllic notions it had that led to the roadmap that was published and publicized. Now very, very little apparently can be done, simply because there are those who are saying that individuals have become, in some cases, almost as strong, perhaps even stronger than the party, and this has wreaked confusion in the party.
I will disagree, because it's individuals that make up the party. Excuse me. And the party is only as strong as the totality of the members or the leadership want it to be, right? But I don't think an individual has... What you see here is that situations have happened where non-political actors within the system have appropriated the mandates and the authority of the politicians, right? And they seem to be the ones setting the agenda. So when that happens, then people look and say, oh, but where is the party?
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying?
And rightly so.
You get what I'm saying?
You probably will have to agree.
Rightly so. Rightly so. And that's what I was saying earlier, that there are responsibilities for the party. But where the party did not think it was necessary for it to intervene, the party will not intervene. Like Senator Sinazo said, what was playing out between the executive and the National Assembly initially, everybody was jumping on it and making comments. But the party understood that there was nothing abnormal about the executive disagreeing with the National Assembly or vice versa. It was only at the point that the party feels, okay, this is going a bit too much, that the party stepped in. And you see that was when we went to the National Assembly, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. But we can't be behaving as if we didn't know what was going on. Any other person can be jumping to make arguments, to start conversations about it. But the party needs to maintain a dignified position and intervene only when it is absolutely necessary. And that was what we did.
Well, Senator, to come back to, because it comes back in here, and the National Assembly is so crucial to every Nigerian. Take the Appropriation Act now, for instance. That was a sore point. The executive sent it over one way, the Senate looked at it, the National Assembly looked at it, and have approved it another way. Now, a lot of people are saying, hang on, the executive is the executive, the legislature is the legislature, the judiciary is the judiciary. People shouldn't be crossing lanes. It is the executive to set policy. This is how we're going to go. They were elected to do that job, direct the nation. The assembly itself is to just look at it and, oversight and all of that, not to change yellow to blue. I mean, maybe a darker bit of yellow, maybe a little lighter yellow, but to change yellow to blue, which is what the National Assembly did. Yes. Explain that one.
No, I think at this point, you are not being fair to me. In the sense
no, but you understand. I didn't want to aim at you particularly.
In the sense that I came from the National Assembly.
Okay. But you also, you come from APC as well.
Yeah, that's why I say in this case, you're not being very, very fair to me. When you are talking about appropriation,
yes,
don't forget that it's a bill that will eventually become a law. Once it is approved, it's a law. The National Assembly have all powers, every power, as long as the appropriation bill is concerned, to make amendments within the framework of what the executive submitted. But we're going to do all these, taking into cognizance what will benefit Nigerians more. The interest of the ordinary Nigerian, the interest of our nation is far more important than what individuals believe in. So now,
that's what the executive would have taken care of. The interest of all Nigerians before approaching the National Assembly.
You must praise the executive and as well as the National Assembly in this guise. Beginning from 2016 appropriation, they never allowed it to tear the two arms of government apart. It was resolved. Even when the president felt that some issues, some items were removed from the budget in 2016, he refused to sign. It went back to the National Assembly. National Assembly had to accommodate those interests, and eventually it was signed into law. Today we are back to 2017 appropriation. It has already been signed. So if there are gray areas in terms of implementation, it will be sorted out. Don't forget that we have service-wide vote that can be relied upon as time goes on, and there are issues that need to be sorted out that are not in the budget.
In any case,
don't also forget that we have supplementary.
Yes, we heard that.
So these are areas of amendment. These are areas of correction.
So it's not just that this National Assembly has wanting to be quite frisky with this administration. No. It's almost like by reflex, saying no to whatever the National Assembly, the executive says.
No, it's a recurring decimal, beginning from President Obasanjo, President Yaradua, President Goodluck, and President Buhari. So long as democracy is evolving, we will be adjusting. We will get there someday. I believe that APC have even done better in terms of agreeing with National Assembly about budgeting. We have done better than previous government. There was a time that it was a big logjam between President Obasanjo and National Assembly. Big logjam. They couldn't even make progress.
Okay. Okay, you know what? Thank you very much, Senator. And I want, because we have such little time. I want to see if I can touch a few very, very, very important issues. Right now, as you know, all sorts of exercise of the democratic right to speech. People are saying that some people should leave the North by a certain date, or else. You know, all of that's going on. Now, it's being roundly condemned all over the place. But they still are exercising their right to free speech. I was just reading in the papers that more and more men of goodwill are coming on board and publicly identifying themselves with a condemnation of separatist kind of utterances.
That is true.
So give me your, what is this to you as a party? Is this a serious matter, or is it just one of those things that come and go? What's the view of APC?
Well, I mean, no responsible government will dismiss genuine agitation or complaints of marginalization or people who feel that their citizenship needs to be given greater meaning. No responsible government or party will ignore that. But what we have seen the last couple of weeks is not about that. To our mind, we don't think that what we have seen the last couple of weeks have to do with the genuine agitation for equity and greater participation in the Nigerian entity that had gone on for so many years, almost as old as Nigeria itself. You know,
you don't think it's that?
No, we
so
don't
what do you think it is?
We don't think it is that.
Well, what do you think is going on?
You see, like we said
why
earlier,
has it erupted now?
Like we said earlier, and with due respect to everyone, I think some of these agitations are genuine. I've said that, right? But I'm saying that in the last couple of weeks, what we have seen is a completely different agenda that we probably up to now do not understand. Why suddenly have people suddenly started drawing maps that did not draw before 2015? Why have people started issuing ultimatums that they did not issue before 2015? Right? I did a little bit of background checks on the individuals who issued the ultimatum in Kaduna. The chairman of that youth group, Yerima, or if I remember his name,
the Arewa Youth Group.
The Arewa Youth Group, yeah. The chairman last year issued a statement making comments and taking position in the local politics in Abia State. What was his business as chairman of Arewa Youth in the local politics of Abia State that he was even taking position against, with one of the combatants against the other?
What are you talking about? Would that be, when you said Yerima, is that Shetima Yerima? Or a different Yerima?
No, the Yerima that
the Yerima in the chairman of the Arewa group, the one that issued the ultimatum. Yeah, the one that issued the ultimatum. Yeah, Shetima Yerima, that's his name. Then the gentleman that read the ultimatum itself, when I checked, this same guy last year was one of the people that issued statement condemning people who asked the secretary to the government of the federation that is currently under, condemning people who asked him to step down. So these people are not new people. If you check, they've at one point or the other played different roles that are not congruous with what they purport to be pursuing at the moment. Now, the question that leads me to ask is, what was their motivation? What was the motivation, for example, in Yerima intervening in local politics in Abia State? Who motivated them? Who put him up to that? That will lead me to another question, therefore. So who is putting him up to this time? Right? I mean, I'm just saying we should ask questions. You talked about freedom of expression. Yes. That is a constitutional guarantee for every citizen. But that does not include hate speech. And we need to be careful, and that is why our party is concerned. Okay. Every single war that has happened in the world has happened with words, has started with words. What somebody said to somebody, how somebody defined somebody, how somebody framed somebody, right? And that is why I'm delighted, and I believe the party, all of us are now, that people who ought to lead these conversations are now stepping up to lead the conversation.
Indeed.
You see, I must say one thing by way of, you see, I'm a media person. You see, we in the media have a way also of creating miracles, of turning village bullies into heavyweight champions overnight. Some of these people, we don't need to give them the kind of attention that we give to them. People crawl out of their holes and begin to issue ultimatums, and they become superstars overnight.
Okay, Senator Izunazo, on the other side, whereas we're having the problem with the Arewa, people saying what they're doing, also the IPOB is also there, just saying the kind of thing that happily now more and more Indigbo elders than perhaps a month or two ago are now coming out and saying, no, this is not on at all. Again, you probably mirror his sentiments as a party man in terms of how concerned you are about these separatist agendas that are being pushed. We don't know by who. You don't know how much of it is, there's so much mischief behind the scenes, right?
Well, just like Malam Bolaji said, a lot of well-meaning Nigerians have come out to speak on this matter. It's what concerns us as a party at the helm of affairs today in Nigeria, is that we must make sure that the unity of this country is not compromised. It matters the angle anybody is coming from. Today, people have made head
There's no negotiation on that.
No. You don't negotiate about the unity of this country.
As far as APC is concerned.
It's sacrosanct. As far as we are concerned, we don't negotiate about unity of this country. Now,
that is sacrosanct.
Yes, that is sacrosanct. But people are free to make agitations. People are free to make demands. Don't forget that towards the end of President Goodluck regime, there was a lot of agitation about ABCDE that led to the 2014 National Confab. It was those agitations that led to it. He set it up, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to finalize it because, you don't just set it up and people will talk and go, and you keep the document in your shelf and waiting for another person to come and dust it for you. If you believe in it, why didn't you go the whole hog and sort it out when you were there? Because you set it up. So the point I'm making is that those who are talking of one agitation or the other, we're containing them. We understand what they're saying. Freedom of speech, freedom of whatever is enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
But you can also move and begin to break the law.
Yeah, but not when you go to defame people. You have defamation. If you defame people, both orally or in writing, you'll be held accountable.
Forgive me if I interrupt.
You'll be held liable.
Yeah, I'm going to come straight back to you, but I've got to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll include your calls as well, because I can imagine you might have calls for the august two-man panel in front of me. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. Our guests, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, one-time Minister of Youth and Sports, and now APC National Publicity Secretary, alongside Senator Isita Izunazo, APC National Organizing Secretary. And we've been talking about, APC's perspective on restructuring, just the polity, the nation generally. And we've heard that absolutely no negotiation is even being considered in terms of the unity of the country. Yeah. That one is just there. Yes, there are those who are exercising their right. The Vice President has warned that go ahead and keep on exercising your right, but also be aware that if you're not careful and you break laws, the laws will apply.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect to it. We were saying at the beginning that I imagine it's going to be your perspective, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm imagining that you are going to think that APC has not done badly since he came aboard. I can tell you that there are some some followers, some people who vote, but who in anguish and anger have said that if I had known that this was what it was going to be like, I wouldn't have spent, let me not use the word waste, spent my vote on the APC. Now look at APC. There's no difference between what they were doing and what PDP were doing, really talking about his experience in terms of, I was on 2 meals a day before. It has not become 3 under APC.
Well, I mean, the fundamental essence of any government is to improve the quality of lives of the people. And any government that is not able to do that cannot claim that its job is done. We as a party recognize that. And every day and every single day, that's what the conversation we are having with the government, and because we believe that is the focus of this government. And that's why when you see a couple of our officials come out to say, look, this restructuring thing is not our priority. Yeah. We need to fix the economy.
It's not unimportant.
It's not unimportant. It's not our priority. We need to fix the economy. We are aware that people's salaries, the states are having difficulties paying salaries in some cases. We are aware that some people are having difficulties feeding their children or paying school fees. That is the situation we found ourselves regards the economy in recession, and we need to pull the economy out of recession. We need to stabilize the polity and help the people to deliver on the expectations that they have of us, right? So we need to do that first before we begin to talk about this other issue. So I'll be the first to admit to you that APC is fully conscious of the responsibilities that we have. Be that as it may, though.
It has difficulties.
Yeah, no, not even that. Be that as it may.
I beg your pardon, sir. Can I just interrupt you right there?
Okay, please, go ahead.
Hold your thought, please, because Kunle Akala has called in from Ibadan. Good morning, Mr. Akala.
Good morning.
Go right ahead with your comment. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. You got a question for the panel?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead with your comment.
Yeah, this is a very important discussion we are having right now. And I believe that if we say national unity, we can only have national unity on fairness and equity.
Yes.
And what we are having in this country, I don't think we have that. This is a country where one section of the country is more superior than the other.
No, that's your
the
assumption.
statement being made by Yerima, he said it openly, and he even said the police should come and arrest him. And up till this time we are talking, nobody has dared to arrest him. What type of country is that?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kala. Appreciate your call. Okay. No, again, this is one perspective now. I don't know how much of that statement is based on fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody has dared to approach him.
I think I agree with Mr. Akala to the extent that no country can survive on injustice, and that the basic precondition for national unity is justice and equity and fairness for every citizen of the country. And that is what we must continue to work towards. That is what we must continue to strive to achieve. But to the extent that, okay, some people are considered superior, I think that is his opinion. I don't share it. To the extent that some people have considered themselves above the law and therefore cannot be dealt with in accordance to the law, again, that is his apprehension based on his experience. I don't think so.
Well, Malam, with due regard, you're a Nigerian yourself, yes. We always go through these conversations. It is a known fact that unfortunately the law applies differently. The same law for a man of no means and a man of superior
But
means.
that's a different conversation.
It is.
That's a different conversation. Right? It's a different conversation. And it's like that all over the world. Give me one country. It is wrong.
Exactly.
It is wrong. I mean, it shouldn't.
That
no, but I think Mr. Akala's statement is not entirely correct. His first postulation is right. The second one, that somebody is above the law, is not correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you know Governor Nasiru El-Rufai have not minced words from the very first day that this ultimatum was issued. The government of Kaduna State condemned it vehemently.
Oh yes.
And they have
And called for the
repeatedly done
individual's
that.
arrest, yeah.
And they have insisted that they're going to prosecute some people. And they're working towards that. So you see, when a government has become responsive, we have to acknowledge it.
Okay. Let me take Mr. George calling in from Ikeja. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much for calling in, sir.
Thank you for bringing in the APC stalwarts.
We were very lucky to have them.
We thought there is no APC again. Uncle Yori, I am satisfied with the clarification that the APC senior people are saying there about this restructuring.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am not satisfied with is why they are always quiet when there is need to speak. All these agitations have been going on for long. The party spokesperson, you don't hear him. Is it only when things go sour that we hear the party? That is one. Secondly, Uncle Yori, I'm rather baffled by some of the statements that the senator there has made. He said that he does not believe that the National Assembly is playing the role of opposition. How can this be justified, sir? When you have a Senate where your party has majority, you send the name of anti-corruption chairman. For 7 months, it was not dealt with. When it was dealt with, it was returned 4 times.
4 times.
You have a majority of members in the Senate. For 14 months, you sent draft bills against for the fight against corruption. Those bills are not attended to. Recently, the Senate, you sent 37 names for INEC board to be constituted. The Senate, where you have majority members, sent it back to you and gave you 2 weeks within which you must do what they want. Otherwise, they are not going to look into the list. How can opposition be played better?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. George. Appreciate your call. Senator Osita, well, you see, he's here as APC organizing secretary. It's just as well. Coincidentally, he also happens to be a senator, so he can speak to the questions you refer to. But as a party man, I would be, if you weren't a senator, for instance, you are, but if you weren't a senator, but you are organizing secretary, I would be asking you, how does the party feel about all of this? How does your party that owns you, owns that's the majority in the Senate, how does it feel about all of this and these allegations of...
Yeah, but let me first of all thank Mr. George for his commentary and observation, because he said now he knows that the party is still existing. The party have always existed. And we have always,
it's a backhand kind of a compliment.
And we
it's
have
a backhand compliment.
Yes, I know.
What we're saying is that we've
not
seen you people.
I know. We have always made comments
until there's a crisis now.
We have always made comments on issues. Always. But what I'm trying to say is that there are certain things he's not getting right. You see, the relationship between the National Assembly and the executive is usually like a husband and a wife. They must agree, they must disagree, but at the end of the day, what is paramount is that the marriage is allowed to sustain and remain. So wherever there are disagreements between these two arms of government, the party have always played our role. Our role is to mediate. Our role is to make each of them to see reasons. If you are accusing the Senate of not clearing the financial, economic and financial boss, he said the name has been submitted over 4 times. That is not correct. To the best of our knowledge, that name was submitted twice. They worked on it and sent it back to the executive. The executive is also considering it. At the end of the day, if there's anything that the executive wants, they will also get across to the Senate and say, this is how we feel. This is what we think. The man is still acting. He has not been removed.
But the whole mood, mood of the nation.
No. You see, I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
The nitty-gritty of it.
Because the whole mood of the nation is that we need.
I don't want to go into the
someone fighting corruption.
I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of it. Going into the nitty-gritty of it will not help us at this particular point in time. But what is going to help us now is, are we able to resolve the problems?
And you think that is being done?
Of course it's being done.
Mazi Okoroafo in Arochukwu, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Yuri. Good morning, our guest in the studio.
Sure.
Thank you.
My question, I want to find out from Mr. Bolaji, sir. Now, in one of Gapia's branches said that now people have started drawing another map to this present dispensation with all this agitation and institutional. Now, what do you think that must have caused such drawing of maps? Well, I'm asking this question because as you people are the ESCO members, it is your job to checkmate everybody in that, because any organization, they must be head and they must be other followers. When institution whereby the head sit down, close mouth or close eye, it is not safe, and nobody's talking. And you think it's favorable to Nigerian dispensation? Because politics, we agree it's a game of figures and then, but this time around, Nigerians want to do what? To derive the dividends of that change, which is the dividends of democracy. Because when they don't derive the dividends, you see, they start having all this grumbling, grudges, malice everywhere. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos.
Indeed. Thank you very much for calling in.
I'm not sure I got.
Essentially, I think the gist of it is that when all these kind of agitations, surface, it's the duty of the party to sort of checkmate all of these unsavory, untowards, kind of utterances that are coming in.
You see,
not just sit there and then
we also need to be very
do
careful.
the fire brigade
you
thing
see, what I'm
after.
saying that we need to be very careful that the party has its roles and the party understands its roles. Other elements within the system also have their roles. Other constituencies within the system also have their roles, right? There are roles that people need to play. When they don't play it, right, the party will not fill the vacuum. Do you get what I'm saying?
For example,
like when this issue of agitation for restructuring started, right? Our responsibility as a party is to reach out to our stakeholders, people who are our governors, people who are in the National Assembly, to say, what are you people doing about it? It's our government. So we cannot be issuing statements, right? Our role is to activate our own system to respond and behave in a particular way. Since those things have happened, you could see a lot of things happening. Like the senator mentioned, the Kaduna government, all the governors in the north have dissociated themselves with what happened. You can see that the acting president is meeting with different segments of the country. That is how a ruling party works. It's not just coming out to make statements, right? So sometimes we don't talk about this, but we work on them.
There's work going on behind
There's
the
work
scenes.
going on. You see, so it's not everything that will come out and start making statements and talking and all that. Then the second leg of it, I think we need to be careful how we dismiss agitations for improved, for greater equity in the system as mere political manipulation or as expression of economic hardship, right? There may be issues, real issues of economic hardship. There are real issues of potential political opportunism. But the quest to improve our unity, the quest to improve, to strengthen our federalism is fundamental. And we must not hide them under these. That's why we wonder, as a party, what makes this issue of restructuring now desperately urgent over and above all other things, right? So this is the question we must ask ourselves. We admit that there are real issues we need to deal with to to work towards perfecting our federation and our union. Now we're going to deal with them.
And our unity. And for we'll take, for instance, right now, our president has been away for, quite a while now. I think somewhere around 50 days for whoever is counting. But the country is still running because there's an acting president in place. In terms of engagement from within the House with the acting president, what would be your assessment as to the quality of that? Well, the quality of engagement with the vice president, with the acting president, to be able to do his job as the president.
The acting president has effectively filled in the gap of Mr. President's absence. And that is
with full support from all stakeholders within the party.
Effectively, and his level of engagement is quite high, quite reasonable, and quite constructive. In the sense that he has met with all, when these issues came up, he has met with northern leaders, he has met with southeastern leaders, he has met with the party chieftains, he's meeting with all the critical stakeholders. And you can see that his statements have been very decisive about our stand on the matter. Like I said before, about the unity of this country is paramount. That is the key. Then everything revolves around it. So I think Mr. Acting President have been able to do proper engagement in sorting out some of these issues. And a lot is still going on. He's not resting. The party is not resting. Only last week our governors met and discussed these issues effectively.
And issued a statement.
Yes, and issued a statement. And their views were also communicated to the acting president.
Okay. One moment, please. There's another caller on the line I hear. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in, Mr. Gbenga.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in. Your comment.
I don't want to salute my fellow APC member and the senator. When you are talking of restructuring, the people talking about restructuring, they have just one agenda. They just want to rise on the back of that agitation to power. Because I cannot imagine IBB and Atiku talking about restructuring at this time. When they were there, what did they do? They did not help Nigeria in any way. Like a judge said last week, I listened to this program, IBB himself put Nigeria on his knees. What did he do to help Nigerians? I'm very sorry, these people are just playing, they did not even mention, they didn't even say anything pertaining to what do they want in restructuring, how they want the restructuring to take place.
Thank you.
The only thing I can say is that because there is no routine again, people now want to dismember Nigeria. That is my contribution. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Any comments on that?
To a very large extent, I agree with him because, you see, every problem must start, solving any problem must start with a shared understanding of the definition of what it means, right?
The nature of the problem.
Of the nature of the problem. And that's why we say when people throw the concept restructuring around, we have to be careful what we agree with because we are not sure we are saying the same thing.
Because one man's restructuring is
another
man's restructuring,
so
right?
We have to have clarity about that. If we said restructuring and all of us latch onto it and join the restructuring train, we may find ourselves in the destination that we never signed up for. You see, so for us in APC, we have made it clear, hopefully, what restructuring means to us.
Okay.
If anybody's intent of restructuring is to draw new maps of Nigeria, that is not what APC will support, and that's not what we promised.
Okay. Another Gbenga is calling in from Abuja. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Gbenga. I'm calling from Abuja, Wuse.
Okay. Go right ahead, please.
Those who are clamoring for restructuring are the people who have just changed this country in the past. You see, my brothers in the southeast, the problem they are facing was self-made. Their leaders refused to develop their state. The government did not do their responsibilities. And instead of the leaders in that area to intervene when the thing was going on, they let them alone because they saw it as a way of paying back this government that they were not part of. And what I'm saying that the suffering, corruption, is what is hitting us bad. Because people are using restructuring as a way of promising the people that, look, if you restructure, if you go your own way, I go my own way, your problem will be solved. And it cannot be because those politicians who are running this country, who are so dangerous, will still be the ones to govern them. So what we need is true federalism, no doubt.
All
We
right.
need to have things done well. Good governance. People need jobs. People need electricity. Good roads. By the time the government is going to deliver that, I'm telling you, they will silence all this agitation and restructuring.
Thank you very much, Benga, for calling in. Senator Osita, you probably agree with that because he's alluding to there's a lot of mischief in behind all of this. Some invisible, hands. There also is one stream of thought that, look, at the end of the day, Buhari has not been forgiven yet for winning this election. Certainly. And so there's all of this to make life more difficult.
Yeah, well, APC came at a very difficult time in Nigerian political history when the democracy itself is still evolving. For the first time in the history of democracy in Nigeria, a sitting president was defeated. For the first time in the history of democracy in Nigeria, an opposition party defeated a ruling party.
That's right.
For the first time in the history of this country, a lot of things has happened. So now, good luck is no longer there. But PDP remains an institution that have built several personalities and several interests and several individuals over the last 16 years. These people, some of them are coming up now to say, restructure, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Because they are still feeling that they don't understand the way APC is been able to manage the mess that we inherited. We got a lot of mess. A friend of mine said that that the economy that APC inherited was on life support. When we came in, we saw the economy on life support. If you see an economy on life support, are you going to remove the oxygen for the life support for the economy to die completely, or to manage it to an extent where you can now remove the oxygen?
I've got to shoehorn in the last caller. Ishak, Mr. Ishak is calling in from Bida, Niger State. Good morning, sir.
Hello. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in. Quickly, please. We've almost run out of time.
Joshua from Bida, Niger State. Joshua from Bida, Niger State.
Oh, Joshua.
Uncle Yori. I want to really congratulate you for your educational program and congratulate you for the guests you usually bring to this very program. What I want to really say is that let us wake up and kill this issue of ethnicity, tribalism, religious bigotry that has bedeviled this very nation. You'll discover that I am from the East, born in the North, have lived all my life in the North. I don't think I've given away even some of my sisters to people from the North. So I don't think anything like restructuring can really take place in this present Nigeria of today. Where are we going to go to?
Indeed.
Please, sir, what I just want to really bring to the notice of some of our leaders from the East is that all the money that they have collected from the big time politicians, they should return it. And let there be peace in this. Money has exchanged hands. Money has exchanged hands. God bless this nation.
All right, thank you very much. I've got to let go of you now. And in fact, there's little room to say any much more because we've run out of time. But I don't think I want to say anything on top of what you two, gentlemen, have explained, looking at it, structuring from the APC point of view. Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, APC National Publicity Secretary, thank you very much for coming on our program.
My pleasure.
And distinguished Senator Osita Izunazo, Organizing Secretary of APC, thank you very much also for coming on our program.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best. I am Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.